They said money could buy everything, power, respect, comfort, even love, but there was one thing all of billionaire Richard Maxwell's wealth could never buy: his daughter's voice. From the moment little Evelyn was born, she had never spoken a single word. Doctors across the globe flew in, therapies were tried, and miracles were prayed for, but silence lingered like a heavy shadow in her life. Richard, one of the richest men alive, could change economies with his signature, but he couldn't do the one thing that mattered most: hear his daughter call him father. Evelyn's silence became the wound no amount of luxury could heal. Yet, fate has a way of turning the impossible into the unforgettable. Because one day, a poor black boy stepped into their world, and did the unthinkable, something no money, no power, and no science had ever been able to do. Chapter 1. The Silence of Evelyn Maxwell. Richard Maxwell was a man the world envied. Skyscrapers bore his name, industries bowed to his command, and every charity gala had him seated at the front. But when the cameras stopped flashing and the lights dimmed, he was just a father staring at a quiet little girl who never said goodnight. Evelyn was now 16, a beautiful girl with ocean blue eyes and golden hair, a child who seemed like a princess from a storybook, except her lips carried no words, only whispers of sadness that no one could hear. Richard loved her more than life itself. He bought her every toy, every horse, every gadget, and even built an entire amusement park in their estate. Yet Evelyn remained withdrawn. Therapists said she was selective mute. Some said it was trauma from birth complications. Others claimed her silence was psychological. Richard didn't care what the labels were, he just wanted to hear her laugh, shout, or even cry. Anything but silence. But Evelyn wasn't just silent, she was lonely. Her world was filled with people who either pitied her or idolized her father. No one her age dared to treat her like a real person. No one except the boy who appeared one summer morning, holding nothing but a torn backpack and a hopeful smile. His name was Marcus, 17 years old, dark-skinned, lanky, with calloused hands from years of working odd jobs. His mother had passed away when he was 12, and his father had abandoned him long ago. Marcus survived by mowing lawns, cleaning yards, and doing anything that would pay for his food and books. He had dreams bigger than his circumstances, but his reality chained him down. When he got a chance to work at the Maxwell estate as a gardener's helper, he thought it was just another job. He didn't know it was destiny. The first time Evelyn saw Marcus, he was whistling as he planted roses in her mother's old garden. His tunes carried across the air, simple yet warm. Evelyn paused by the balcony, curious. For years, she had seen workers come and go, all careful, respectful, almost afraid of her presence. But Marcus didn't look up to the mansion in awe. He wasn't intimidated by the grandeur. He just worked, humming, smiling, sweating under the sun, as though joy was something he created for himself, not something given by the world. And then it happened. Marcus looked up and saw her. Unlike others, he didn't bow his head or avoid eye contact. He waved, a boyish grin across his face, as though he had known her forever. Evelyn froze. No one had ever greeted her like that. Something stirred inside her, a strange flutter she couldn't explain. She wanted to wave back, but her hands trembled. Instead, she slipped behind the curtains, her heart racing, confused by the warmth she felt for a boy who had nothing but kindness in his eyes. Richard noticed changes too. His daughter spent more time near the windows. She lingered by the gardens. She sketched in her notebooks while Marcus worked, glancing at him as though he were some mystery she longed to understand. The billionaire father, cautious and protective, kept his distance. Yet deep down, he saw something he hadn't seen in years, life in his daughter's eyes. What neither of them knew was that Evelyn's silence was not unbreakable. It was just waiting for the right note, the right heart, the right soul brave enough to reach it. Chapter 2. The Unthinkable. Weeks passed, and the mansion's cold halls began to echo with something new, Marcus's laughter. He spoke freely to Evelyn, even when she didn't respond. He told her about his mother's lullabies, about the stars he counted on lonely nights, about dreams of studying music and one day becoming a composer. He would pull out a small, worn-out harmonica, the only thing he had left of his mother, and play melodies that seemed to breathe life into the air itself. Evelyn listened, for hours. Sometimes her eyes closed, sometimes her hands clutched her chest, as if the music was stitching together the broken pieces of her spirit. Marcus didn't ask for words. He didn't beg her to speak. He just treated her as though her silence was not a burden, but a language of its own. But not everyone was pleased. Richard's advisors whispered, "Sir, a boy like that shouldn't be near your daughter." He's poor, uneducated, from the wrong side of the city. What if people talk? Even Richard himself felt the sting of doubt. He had built walls around Evelyn to protect her, and here was a boy climbing those walls with nothing but a smile. But when Richard saw the soft glow on his daughter's face, he couldn't find it in his heart to stop it. One stormy evening, the mansion's power went out. Thunder roared, lightning cracked, and Evelyn, usually calm, shook with fear. She hid under her blanket, her body trembling. Marcus, working late in the garden shed, heard the commotion and rushed inside. He found her crouched in a corner, eyes wide with terror. Without hesitation, he pulled out his harmonica and began to play. The tune was gentle, a lullaby his mother once sang during storms. Evelyn's breathing slowed, her fear melted, but as Marcus played, tears streamed down her face. Her lips trembled, her chest rose and fell rapidly, and then, after 16 years of silence, her voice broke free. "Stop, please." Marcus froze. The harmonica slipped from his hands. He stared in disbelief, his heart pounding. Evelyn had spoken, 2 words, but they were everything. She clutched his sleeve, sobbing, whispering again, "Please, don't stop." Her voice was fragile, shaky, but real. Richard burst into the room seconds later, alarmed by the noise, only to witness the miracle himself. His daughter, his silent angel, was speaking, for the first time in her life. He fell to his knees, tears blurring his vision, overwhelmed by gratitude and shock. Evelyn spoke because of Marcus. Not the doctors, not the therapies, not the millions he had spent, but a poor black boy with nothing but music, faith, and a heart big enough to believe. From that night forward, Evelyn's voice grew stronger. Day by day, she found the courage to speak more. Words tumbled out awkwardly, beautifully, and Marcus was always there, listening, encouraging, never judging. Her first, "thank you," was for him. Her first laugh was because of him. Richard finally understood. True wealth was not measured by money, but by the love and kindness one human being could give another. He embraced Marcus like a son, vowing never to let prejudice or pride blind him again. The world soon learned of Evelyn's miracle, but Richard refused to let it become a media circus. He told people simply, "A boy with nothing gave me the greatest gift I could never buy, my daughter's voice." And so, Evelyn spoke, not only with her lips, but with her life. She carried Marcus's gift forever, a reminder that sometimes, the poorest soul has the richest heart, and love can do the unthinkable. Sparkle's final inspiring message for viewers. The story of Evelyn and Marcus reminds us that money can build empires, but it cannot heal the human spirit. True miracles happen when kindness meets courage, when love reaches where wealth cannot. Never underestimate the power of a sincere heart, it may just change a life forever.